Thank you so much for the intro. All right, so a few words about me. I've been working with healthcare companies, helping them design products and services for the past 7 years. So I had a chance to work with both smaller companies, helping them bring the product from scratch till launch and then growth stage till unicorn stage. And also I had a chance to work with corporations like CVS Pharmacy and others. Today we'll be diving into gamification in healthcare. And to be honest, games have a powerful influence on our behavior. When I was a kid, my mom found a computer game called something like Clean Teeth, so I could learn to keep my teeth clean by playing fun simulations. So I was running around the rows of teeth, cleaning them to prevent cavities. And these simple games stick with us because they tap into very human behavior that we love challenges, but we hate being forced into them. And that's why many years later, I still remember this game. Our health choices are significantly shaped by our upbringing, right? So we absorb what our parents do, how they behave, if they work out or not. And later on, when we are exposed to other stimuli, we change what we have learned earlier, and maybe we can improve our health. And right now, this year's, we can definitely see that more and more people, especially millennials and Gen Z, they are more interested in investing in their health and wellness purchases. So we have a lot of information about how to be healthy, how to eat healthy, how to ensure that our lifestyles are as optimized for longevity as possible, but at the same time, we do not really know very well how to maintain these healthy behaviors consistently. So the problem is probably not in knowledge and not even in lack of interest, as we can see. Gen Z and millennials definitely want to invest in this, but the problem is in motivation and engagement. So we will be exploring how gamification can bridge this gap between the health knowledge and actual health action. So we can see here gamification. And gamification necessarily is a combination of different factors. So it's a challenge. Then, if we win the challenge, so if we win some conditions that were set in the challenge, we get the reward. Then our position is shifted. So we're on the leaderboard. We may receive some rewards, for example, badges or trophies. Then we want to share it with a social network. Then we get our status updated, and everything is centered around the point system. That's exactly how we understand if we actually are good enough to receive a reward and badge or not. And if we go back to the tribes and how come it happens so that we are so obsessed with games and with achievements and recognition, we will be able to trace interesting evolutionary origins. So for most of human history, survival was impossible without group membership. So our early humans, they faced predators. They did not have all the resources they wanted, not unlike we can we can have any food right now. So it's not about calories being consumed, it's about calorie restriction right now for us. Also, many other challenges that required collective action. And being rejected from the tribe often meant deaths, and quite literally death. Not like right now, it's mostly emotional damage and that's it. So this has created a pressure to develop some behaviors that secured our position within this group, within this tribe. And high status individuals received the best treatment. So they got the best food, the best sleeping positions, so safety, and great influence. And this actually shaped the way our brains work, even right now. So our ancestors had to be very sensitive to social approval and disapproval. Because if they were not approved by the group, by the community, it's quite possible that they would die alone. That's why our brains reward pathways respond strongly to social approval. It is ingrained in this human nature. So we release dopamine and other chemicals when we receive positive social feedback. For example, we have achieved something, the community has approved us or our achievement as being valuable enough, and we release dopamine. But on the other hand, social rejection activates the same brain regions as physical pain. So it's already part of our nature. How it manifests right now is that we pick our phone, and the difference between, for example, social media addiction and addiction to our health apps, it's not very big, right? So we definitely pick our phone, check our status, and then based on what we can see, either we received approval from the community, from our fitness app or health nutrition app, or our coach, or anything else health related, really. For example, we have achieved our health goal, dopamine increases, we feel happy, and then in some time, dopamine decreases. So there is no huge difference in how this works if we are speaking about health related products, social media, any other maybe unhealthy behaviors. We are always triggered by something that helps us release dopamine. I feel good, and after that, keep repeating the same behavior. Going back to what I was talking about in the first place, that we must ensure that our position in the community, our position within some tribe is high enough. That's how we survive, right? So we obviously will release dopamine, and we will see this. In this case, you are in top 1% by Strava as a reward, as recognition, as understanding that we are so high in this community, in this on this leaderboard, which is virtual. Really, we do not even know these people in this tribe, but we already understand that we will not die per se, right? So we are in a very good position. And going back to the leaderboards, almost all health-related, fitness-related apps use leaderboards. This one is the screenshot from Whoop app. Same can be found on Peloton and other apps. So they use leaderboards and badges to stimulate users to progress within this community. And I can compare myself to others. I can check the details and actually see where I stand in this social hierarchy. Same in the leaderboard from Strava. Okay, so one important distinction that I need to make here is that this leaderboards, they look like static screens. They are never static. They were never static in traditional societies. They are not static right now. So positions can be gained and positions can be lost. If you have performed well yesterday, for example, you have killed a huge animal, or you have helped to, I don't know, cure a kid or something else, which positions you well in the community. This works only till the next person actually demonstrates value that is bigger than yours. So you always are in perpetual anxiety cycle about maintaining your position. And it's not new. It was always a problem in the tribe. So you had to always keep an eye on these leaderboards, same as we do right now. And interestingly, if you think about the rewards and trophies, those are natural next steps from these leaderboards, right? So we, as parts of these tribes, in our ancestral environments, we received the natural feedback when we did something right. For example, if a human successfully hunted, they received immediate feedback. They received some food, meat. Or after that, they received most probably social recognition in their tribe because they brought so much meat. Everybody is happy about it. As a result of that, they received elevated status. And this, again, trigger the response of dopamine release. So this behavior that I done something right reinforce the behavior. And obviously this worked. That's why we have survived. This immediate feedback loop is very important for our learning and adaptation. So finding food, shelter, avoiding predators, we just used exactly the same reinforcement mechanism for all of this. Dopamine release, learning, repeated behavior. And right now, it is much harder to get this dopamine release if you're speaking about some healthy behaviors, like if you're speaking about regular exercise or proper nutrition or even preventative healthcare, right? So the results are delayed by weeks, months, even years, right? So why would I engage in some healthy behavior right now if I'm gonna see results in 10 years, or maybe when I'm 70, I will see the result. So there is no real feedback right now. And these rewards and trophies at least try to bridge this gap. So these are again some of the examples of rewards and trophies that we receive in sport apps, health-related apps, in this case, different challenges that we can accomplish and receive the rewards and trophies. So again, we receive these trophies, rewards, we get this dopamine release, and that's how we keep repeating these healthy behaviors. And interestingly, if we go back to tribal recognition of our rewards, and back to the case when I came home with a lot of meat because I was such a great hunter, we can trace this also in the fitness and health related apps as well. Many weight related apps, so dieting, nutrition focused apps, fitness apps, even sickness related apps, they will quite often include communities where we share the stories why something has worked or something. Usually obviously want to establish our status, so we want to share our achievements. So again, we are positioned better within this community. So we can post about our marathon completion, and we just signal in this way we are providing some value, similarly to how we were providing value many, many years ago in the tribes. And this way we are highlighting our achievements and making sure that we are earning recognition within our groups. And all of this is closely tied to the point system that we have already started talking about. So we know that there is a reward feedback loop. So I perform some action based on the trigger. So there is first trigger, then we have some behavior. I receive reward, and based on this reward, I decide that I want to keep doing the same thing. So keep repeating my behavior if the reward is something that I feel is meaningful and I enjoy it. It does make sense. And for our ancestors, it did make sense in their daily behavior. For example, again, I hunted animal, I got some reward from the community, and then I keep going and doing the same. This is a very simple example, but obviously for more complex behaviors, it's exactly the same idea. So the feedback loop is very short. So we immediately get feedback. I found great shelter, it is safe, we can avoid predators. I receive feedback that this is great. I should keep doing this. So I should keep making these kind of decisions that help the tribe to survive. I'm the best mom keeper theory, so in the tribe. So the benefits of healthy behaviors, for example, regular exercise, nutrition, are delayed. So we are breaking this habit loop because there's no way how I'm going to remember what kind of behavior has triggered this reward if the behavior that I've done was done 10 years ago, maybe sometimes even 1 month is long enough. So there is a significant gap between action and rewards. And that creates a huge motivational challenge Because in this case, a human cannot really learn the way we were designed to learn. And this brings us to an interesting question. How can we bridge this gap? Because obviously we need to signal to the human, to the user, to the patient that something is going right. Some of the great examples of this are streaks, progress bars, and other ways to signal that the action that the human has performed was uh, great, was positive, right? So it was healthy. Progress bars work in the same way. So they updated real time, the signal about the progress I've just made. Streaks obviously give us immediate feedback about something that was done a second ago, for example. I have logged healthy activity, I have finished my workout, or I have had very healthy meal or so. And all of these examples, streaks, progress bars, they do make sense and they help us, but they're quite limited, right? So health behaviors, they're very abstract. Reduce the risk of your heart disease. How do we measure it? With streak, it's only about counting the days that I was engaging in some behavior. That's not enough for us. We need more depth. Also, progress bar is not enough. We need to understand what we are working towards. And gamification helps us with this. So we transform our abstract benefits into something that is measurable, something concrete. For example, this is Weight Watchers app, and they have the unique points system, which defines the number of daily points that you can use to eat some types of food. And based on what you are logging, you're using these points. Exactly the same way Zoe Health, which also helps us with our dieting and healthy nutrition, gives us feedback about how healthy is the food that we have just logged. So there is a specific number that is tied to a specific food or workout or any behavior that we are tracking within this app. So we collect these points, complete these challenges if there are any, and achieve these progress markers. And immediately our brain experiences satisfaction. And to be honest, I can even share my personal example because when I was recovering from knee injury, and it was a very long healing process, and it was almost unbearable because I could not see the progress. But when I started tracking this progress markers on a daily, weekly basis, I could actually see how I'm improving. So even these tiny, tiny increments, tiny changes every single day, they compounded in a strong trend upwards. So these numbers actually provide us a structure that we lack in this very abstract health concepts. So the process does not feel endless. It's not like I'm logging this food and I do not know how great it is or how long should I keep going. Another great example is point systems uh, used to enforce the healthy behavior. Again, the health after I log meal that might be not very healthy, they actually give me immediate feedback on what should be improved about it. Again, it's a very nice gamification feature, maybe enabled by AI as well. So we understand what was included in this dish, and we suggest a user to, for example, instead of using uh, very sweet fruits, to use something less sweet or add nuts. And this way, again, the user learns immediately. There is no gap. Another great example of point system is Withings. They are tracking multiple health behaviors, and there is also a compound health improvement score. So practically, I earn points for engaging these health behaviors that I decided to track within this app, eating healthy, and they are all aggregated in this one health improvement score that I'm looking at every single day. So it provides me with some short-term reward cycle, and also long term, because in short term I may fail today, but I will not fail if I keep doing something that is good for my health in 1 month. Whoop is a good example as well. This one uses daily scoring, sleep performance, workouts. Again, same idea of quantification of my health achievements and ability to influence them and immediately see the feedback in the health app. Very nice example from pacing, because this one is related to sickness and actually tracking the exertion level. So based on heart rate variability, they track how tired we are by performing certain actions. For example, going for a walk or tidying up. And if a person might be sick, it is important for them not to get too tired. So they give this immediate feedback, and we learn if this behavior is bad for us, we will not be engaging in it. And if it's great for us, again, quite possibly we will continue incorporating it into our lifestyle. Same about sleep, quantification of quality of sleep. Interestingly, I just wanted to quickly mention this one because it seems like right after the action is performed, we receive some reward. This is the first chart here, right? After that, immediately after the cue is recognized, we know that we will perform some behavior and then we will get reward. We already start getting the dopamine spike. Obviously, if the reward is provided too late, we see the decrease here and different changes when we receive the reward a little bit early or later. But I wanted to highlight the anticipatory reward circuits, which means that it's not just about receiving the reward after I have done something right. So our brains have anticipation of rewards, and how this worked back with our tribes. The response evolved to motivate very complex pursuit behaviors. For example, I needed to continue to track prey for days when I'm hungry. And in this example, again, we are using Zoe House here. We have weekly or monthly reports with analysis of what a person has done right and wrong and what should be improved. And this creates a state of motivated anticipation. And again, fitness apps, they do the same. So we know that if I'm doing everything right today, and if I'm gonna keep eating healthy or keep working out, I will see that my score for the week will be excellent. And I anticipate it already. Which brings us to actually an interesting controversial question: can gamification harm us? And obviously, there are pros and cons of every method. On the one hand, obviously, immediate feedback loops, they motivate consistency. That's how we evolved. And even looking at my personal examples and many other examples of other people, even on the basic shallow level, we keep, for example, moving every day just to complete a specific number of steps, just not so we do not lose our streak, or we do not want to see the gap in the activity rings or anything else. So it does help us. However, we also need to keep in mind that this health metrics, especially when we are displaying them publicly through apps, social platforms, Strava again, it becomes not just personal feedback, it becomes a social performance. And this creates also pressure and focus on external validation rather than our internal intrinsic motivation. So one of the ways how I think this can be balanced was and is integrating not only quantitative feedback but also qualitative feedback. For example, I can assess how I feel right now, 1 to 10, but also I need to provide the response why. Same about workout. How did it feel? So we create a space for narrative, for the history, why this has happened, alongside the number. And yeah, while numbers are quite valuable tools, we also need to design for humans holistically and keep in mind that we are responsible for our products and our designs. Yeah, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or Medium and subscribe to my Substack about design for healthcare and not only, but mostly behavioral design. Thank you.
That was great. Thank you so much. So I have too many questions to actually get through. So I might get one or two in. First one is that I like is Duolingo is famous for streaks, which you talked about. What company do you think is really doing well with gamification in general, I'm assuming?
Well, like they mentioned, obviously Duolingo is doing great. I will not be saying that they are not. All of the examples that I have mentioned here, which are dozens, especially the ones that are on the market for years, they definitely do it well. So let's say Strava does it well, Whoop does it well, Peloton does it well. Yeah, mostly all top apps, top health apps, you will be able to learn something from this experience. Yes.
And specifically, then there was a follow up on healthcare. Which one would you recommend for healthcare?
Well, healthcare is a very broad and big segment. So depending on what kind of problems you have, probably as a user, definitely you should keep that in mind. My favorite would probably be Strava again, just not to introduce any names.
Yeah, no, great to know. And then the other piece was around complexity and challenges. So you talked about the benefits of gamification. What are the risks?
Yeah, that's a great question because obviously you can say that risks that I mentioned, like having this social performance instead of being intrinsically motivated to perform some behavior, will harm us because we probably all know some people who are very anxious when they are unable to track something, or tracking does not go well, or the feedback that they receive from the app is not what they wanted, and they become super anxious about it. So they are optimizing for the metric rather than the value that they actually want to get from it. So keeping in mind that, probably we need to get much deeper than giving the user the number, which is just a very shallow way to assess something, especially when we're speaking about such a complex and deep category as health.
Yeah, no, it's really valid, really interesting. Thank you so much, Mary. I really appreciate it.